On Christmas Eve, a group of highly skilled soldiers infiltrates a residential estate, capturing all those inside as hostages. Little do they know, an unexpected fighter awaits them on the premises: Santa Claus himself. Soon, they will discover that this version of Santa is far from the benevolent saint they imagined, as he unleashes his formidable combat skills. The theme of Violent Night revolves around belief and challenges adults' tendency to dismiss certain things as impossible. It delves into the concept of believing in entities like Santa Claus and questioning the feasibility of Home Alone-esque booby traps. The movie begins in Bristol, England. On a chilly Christmas Eve, we find Santa Claus, portrayed by the actor David Harbour, sitting at a cozy bar, indulging in a drink. Once he finishes his beverage, he beckons the bartender for another round. As he waits, another individual, also dressed as Santa Claus, appears at the bar. This Santa imposter inquires if Santa has just finished his work shift. Santa responds by explaining that he is taking a brief break between his demanding shifts. However, the imposter Santa jestingly comments that the reindeer know the way, and Santa merely sits in the back of the sleigh. The bartender and the imposter Santa burst into laughter, assuming that Santa is merely joking around. In a light-hearted manner, Santa shares his contemplation of potentially retiring from his role as Santa Claus due to the prevailing selfishness and materialistic nature of children. Feeling a sense of disillusionment, he stands up and bids farewell to the bar patrons, making his way towards the door that leads to the rooftop. Just before departing, Santa surprises the bartender by presenting her with a gift for her grandson, leaving her astounded and wondering how Santa knew her grandson's name. Curiosity getting the better of her, she hastily follows Santa to the rooftop, intending to inform him that he has taken the wrong exit. However, upon reaching the rooftop, she discovers that Santa has vanished into thin air. Looking up at the night sky, she catches a glimpse of Santa departing on his magical sled. To her astonishment, Santa accidentally vomits over the side of the sleigh, with the unfortunate result that it lands on her face. Meanwhile, in Connecticut, we meet Jason Lightstone, who is meeting his estranged wife Linda and their beloved daughter Trudy. Although the couple strives to make the holiday season special for their daughter, they are currently experiencing a turbulent period in their relationship. In an attempt to foster a joyous atmosphere, the trio sets off for Jason's opulent family mansion, as the Lightstones are known for their immense wealth. Jason's mother, Gertrude, a rather abrasive CEO, reigns over the family, while his sister Alva yearns for their mother's acknowledgement, believing that Jason is Gertrude's favorite child. Accompanying Alva are her not-so-bright actor boyfriend Morgan Steele and her teenage son Bert, who tends to be quite obnoxious. Back to Santa's escapades, we witness him journeying through Christmas with an overwhelming sense of discontentment. Instead of leaving traditional gifts, he opts to place money and various trivial gadgets and gizmos in the stockings. While he indulges in the cookies and milk left out for him, he also helps himself to the alcoholic beverages of unsuspecting hosts. When Santa finally arrives at the Lightstone residence, he takes advantage of their luxurious massage chair, seizing the opportunity to relax and rejuvenate. As the festive day progresses, Jason and Linda decide to grant Trudy permission to open one gift early, an exciting pair of walkie-talkies. After leaving Trudy's room, the parents inadvertently overhear their daughter conversing on the walkie-talkie, pretending to engage in a heart-to-heart chat with Santa. Trudy's heartfelt wish for Christmas is for her parents to reconcile and reunite as a family. Jason and Linda, struck by a wave of remorse, exchange regretful glances, realizing the impact of their estrangement on their young daughter. Meanwhile, unbeknownst to the Lightstones, a group of mercenaries masquerading as staff members initiate their nefarious plan. One of the mercenaries, codenamed Gingerbread, incapacitates the head of security, enabling the leader, Scrooge, to eliminate the guards stationed at the front gate. Scrooge then proceeds to infiltrate the Lightstone mansion, corralling his fellow mercenaries and taking the entire family hostage. According to Scrooge, Gertrude has secretly amassed a staggering sum of $300 million, intended for distribution in the Middle East, which is purportedly stored within a hidden vault somewhere in the expansive house. Amidst the chaos, Santa, who accidentally overhears the sounds of gunfire, attempts to extricate himself from the precarious situation. However, his desperate escape is thwarted when he encounters Tinsel, one of the hired goons. Tinsel viciously attacks Santa, but our beloved Santa, driven by determination, rises to the challenge, fiercely battling back. Unfortunately, the commotion caused by Tinsel's weapon startles the reindeer, causing them to panic and flee, leaving Santa stranded without his trusty mode of transportation. In the ensuing struggle, Santa and Tinsel crash through a window, hurtling towards the ground. Fortunately, Santa manages to emerge unscathed, while Tinsel meets a grisly fate, impaled on an icy stalactite. Lamentably, Santa's supply of Christmas magic proves insufficient to miraculously free himself from the dire circumstances. Realizing the urgency of the situation, Santa makes his way to the front gate, only to discover the lifeless body of the gate operator. At that moment, Trudy's voice emanates from the walkie-talkie Santa had picked up earlier in a desperate attempt to seek help. Touched by Trudy's plea for assistance, Santa resolves to stay and aid the imperiled family. Another mercenary named Frosty, played by Aydin, encounters Santa as he enters the house. They engage in a brutal fight, with Frosty attempting to stab Santa. However, Santa uses his magical bag of gifts to defend himself. Although he cannot magically produce a weapon, Santa seizes the star from the Christmas tree and thrusts it into Frosty's eye. He then plugs the star into an outlet, electrocuting Frosty and setting his head on fire. When Scrooge tries to contact his mercenaries, Santa answers Frosty's walkie-talkie and informs Scrooge of Frosty's demise, warning that the others will soon meet the same fate. Scrooge orders his men to search for Santa while taunting the Lightstones. Candy Cane, the henchwoman who inflicts torture on Jason by employing a nutcracker to break one of his fingers. She then attempts to use a larger nutcracker for its intended purpose. Before they can harm Jason further, Trudy intervenes, confronting the villains and asserting that Santa is there to help them. However, Jason shatters Trudy's belief in Santa by revealing that he doesn't exist and that parents are the ones who place gifts under the Christmas tree. Trudy runs away in tears and hides in the attic, pursued by the thugs. Trudy communicates with Santa again through the walkie-talkie, and he proves his authenticity by recalling the gifts she had asked for in previous years. This reaffirms her faith in Santa. Upon Trudy's mention of the antagonists, Santa checks his naughty list and discovers their names recorded there, all the while comforting Trudy by affirming that she has consistently been on the nice list. Scrooge continues to toy with the family by having the adults present Gertrude with her gifts. Morgan offers her a business proposal to advance his career, but Gertrude shows no interest. Alva gives her a framed picture of the day she was born, but Gertrude displays little enthusiasm. Subsequently, they proceed to unwrap Jason's present, which reveals a bottle of whiskey along with a message specifically intended for Gertrude to read. Gertrude reads it and declares that whatever is written can remain confidential between the two of them. Santa discovers Candy Cane and attempts to subdue her, but a toy Santa is activated, exposing his presence. She alerts Scrooge, who, accompanied by Gingerbread, goes in search of Santa, finding him in the attic. The villains overpower Santa, tying him up and demanding to know his true identity. Santa then reveals their real names. Scrooge is Jimmy, Gingerbread is Bjorn, Candy Cane is Kira, and recalls the things they had wished for as children. Scrooge discloses his resentment towards Christmas because his family couldn't afford to celebrate it when his father lost his job. He attempted to steal presents from a neighbor's house, resulting in scaring their grandfather, who fell down the stairs and broke his neck. From the attic, Trudy creates a diversion by using styrofoam through the vents to create fake snow, momentarily leading the villains to believe in Santa. This gives Santa an opportunity to use his magic to propel himself up the chimney and escape. As Gertrude's rescue team arrives to save the family, Morgan attempts to escape by leaping out of the window. Unfortunately, Morgan discovers they are collaborating with Scrooge when Commander Thorpe, the leader of the team, orders his men to execute him. Scrooge speaks to Thorpe, warning him about Santa. Santa notices more names appearing on the naughty list, indicating that he has more work to do. While Santa plans his next move, he discusses his past with Trudy. Centuries ago, he was a fierce Viking warrior known as Nicammon the Red, wielding a mighty hammer called Skullcrusher to defeat his enemies. Although he has tried to abandon his violent nature since then, Trudy encourages him to put his skills to good use. As the extraction team prepares to storm the house, Santa finds a sledgehammer in the basement and starts pulverizing the thugs. He also employs a sharpened candy cane as a makeshift weapon against the villains. Trudy was determined and got inspired by the movie Home Alone. She set up traps in the attic very carefully. Just as she finished, Gingerbread and Candy Cane, who were the bad guys, came closer to her. Gingerbread accidentally stepped on a broken ladder rung, and a nail went into his chin. Candy Cane tried to go around Gingerbread but was careful to avoid most of Trudy's traps. However, a few bowling balls hit Candy Cane. In all the chaos, one of the bowling balls rolled out of the attic and unexpectedly hit Gingerbread, who fell onto a bed of nails. While trying to remove a nail, Gingerbread accidentally triggered another bowling ball that hit the nail into his skull, and he died. Candy Cane didn't give up and kept chasing Trudy until Santa Claus showed up unexpectedly. Santa quickly intervened and hit Candy Cane's head, saving Trudy from more harm. Meanwhile, Scrooge and Thorpe found out that Gertrude's safe was empty. They were very angry and confronted Gertrude. They held Linda hostage with a gun, demanding answers. The situation was tense, and Jason had to confess that he stole the money. He did it because he wanted to run away with Linda and Trudy to have a better life away from his family. Jason had left a note for Gertrude, hoping she would find out his intentions the next morning. While the villains were away for a moment, one of their helpers, Krampus, threatened Linda, Alva, and Bert. The three argued fiercely, each willing to sacrifice themselves to save the others. Taking advantage of the distraction, Alva threw wine into the fireplace behind Krampus, stunning him. Then the trio attacked Krampus, and Alva ended his life by stabbing his neck with a fire poker. Santa returned Trudy to Linda, and the family was reunited. Scrooge and Thorpe, with Gertrude, escaped, but they were chased by more helpers. Luckily, the remaining Lightstones fought bravely against the bad guys. While Santa confronted Scrooge, Jason and Linda defended themselves against the remaining enemies near a nativity display. After defeating the final enemies, Jason and Linda shared a passionate kiss, and Trudy was happy to see it. Santa was determined to bring justice and chased the fleeing villains on a snowmobile. He eliminated the remaining helpers one by one and then fought brutally with Thorpe. Despite Scrooge's desperate attempts to defeat Santa with different weapons, he discovered his own name on the naughty list. Scrooge realized that killing Santa would mean the end of Christmas. As Scrooge started to believe, Santa gained more power and magic. They both went up a chimney, but the ascent proved fatal for Scrooge, and pieces of him flew out of the chimney. Just as Santa felt victorious, Thorpe shot him 4 times and prepared to kill him. However, Gertrude quickly got a firearm and shot Thorpe in the head, ending his life. The rest of the Lightstones rushed to Santa's side. Jason used some of the stolen money to keep Santa warm, despite Alva's objections. Santa seemed close to death, but Trudy reassured him, expressing her unwavering belief. Linda also believed in Santa because he saved their family. Finally, Bert, Gertrude, and Alva reluctantly joined in, and their belief revived Santa's spirit. Santa thanked the Lightstones with gratitude, and they thanked him back. To everyone's joy, the reindeer returned with Santa's sleigh, including the original Skullcrusher and a note from Mrs. Claus. The Lightstones said their goodbyes, and Santa flew into the night, determined to fulfill his Christmas duties. During the credits, Bert took the opportunity to make a TikTok video with the lifeless body of a mercenary, excited to share the undeniable truth that Santa really exists.